So it looks like Australia has a big mouse problem. In eastern Australia specifically, they are hordes of mice, which have taken over people's homes, taken over the beds, the ovens, probably the toilets. They are mice in the farms. They are mice crawling all over the roads, and people are freaking out. I heard one statement from an Australian woman in which she said something like this: "Well, I was walking. I was going home from work, and I was driving down the road, and it looked like the whole damn road was crawling. And this woman had to stop the car because there was a whole horde of mice crossing the road." And she said something like, "Well, yeah, I saw the horde of mice. They were just crawling across the street. Looked like the whole street was alive." And they're like, "Oh, blimey, mate! There's a bunch of wild mice everywhere, mate. Feral wild mice over there. Crikey, they're everywhere. They're taking over the whole area, mate. They're taking over the towns, they're taking over the villages, mate." So, this is a big problem in eastern Australia, in the bush, in the countryside where the Aboriginals live. And in Crocodile Dundee land, they have this whole scenario. They are in this predicament of mice. It's like the plagues of Egypt have hit the country, except it's just mice. That's the problem. And I've looked into this a little bit. I've inquired a little bit into as to why this is happening, and the explanation that I read was that, well, Australia had an excess amount of rain, mate, and so that made an influx in the harvest for the wheat. So the wheat crops gave a pretty big yield, so that brought in all the mice, mate. That's how it happened. It's like, is that really why this is happening? Because you guys got some extra rain, and so you guys got some extra wheat, and that is what has attracted all of these mice. Well, that may be a factor, but I don't think that it's the ultimate source of the problem. You see, what is the biggest threat to mice? What is the biggest counterbalance to the mouse population? It's cats. And what has Australia been doing within recent years, within these last few years? The Australian government has been at war against cats. And I'm not even joking. Here, I'll read to you guys a story from CNN. This story came out in April of 2019. And the title of the article goes something, well, the title of the article is, "The Case Against Cats, Why Australia Has Declared War on Feral Felines." And Australia has killed millions of wild cats because, well, if we don't kill all the cats, then they're going to kill all the wild bird population. The exotic bird population of Australia is going to be wiped out, mate, if we don't kill all the cats. And so you have all of these Australian guys dressed up like Crocodile Dundee, walking around killing cats. And yes, this has been happening. I'm not making this up. And not only do they kill the cats, they make a profit out of their carcasses. They take their furs and sell them. They make little stuffed cat statues out of them. And I remember seeing a documentary on this on Vice magazine last year, and I found it to be pretty sickening. They're killing all of these cats because Bruce and Wendy had a cat, and the cat got loose, and the cat had babies, and you had a bunch of feral cats walking around. And so they have decided to murder millions of cats. And the article says, and this is from 2019, it says, "Australia is at war with feral cats. By 2020, the government wants to kill 2 million free-roaming cats, a large chunk of the total feral cat population, which is estimated to be between 2 and 6 million. Some areas of Australia have gone even further. In the northeastern state of Queensland, there's even a council offering a $10 bounty per feral cat scalp." So you kill a cat, mate, and then you scalp it, right? And then you give me the scalp of the cat, and I'll give you $10, mate. How's that sound? Sound like a deal? And people think this is great, You have a bunch of eco-fascists murdering cats because they think it's going to kill all the wild birds, mate. That's why. So what happens when you kill all the cats? You got an influx of mice. So Australia has killed millions of cats. What do you think's going to happen? It's like saying, I'm going to get rid of all the ladybugs. Well, what happens when you get rid of all the ladybugs? You're going to have an aphid invasion. And the aphids would be extremely destructive to the agricultural infrastructure. They will attack crops. Farmers would have to get tons and tons of pesticides, and it would make vegetables a hell of a lot more expensive. What happens when you get rid of all the bees? Makes agriculture a whole lot more difficult because now you have to hand pollinate all the flowers. So everything has a purpose in nature. Everything has its own objective and its own mission. And cats have their purpose. Cats are excellent hunters. I know because I have 3 of them. And we have a chicken coop. And mice like to come around at night because they like to feed off the chicken scratch. Chicken scratch is corn and oats and other grain. And they like to eat them. Now, mice will generally do this during the winter when it's cold. During the summer, you don't really see much. Well, yeah, never mind. You do. They are a problem. But all you got to do is put the cats outside, and guess what? They're all gone. The mice will disappear because they will either run away or the cats will kill them. You see, I'll show you my best hunter. This is my best hunter right here. He's a very, very long cat. And you can see his snout. See how narrow that snout is? That means he's designed for killing. He's designed for hunting. And I'm telling you right now, if you see any mice outside, you just put this cat outside for an hour, and those mice are gone. That's how efficient of a hunter this thing is. And you see how long his body is? He's a very, very long cat. Why? Because he's designed for killing. That's why. I'm going to set you down. Well, before I set him down, I believe he is some kind of an African breed of cat. I think he is either some kind of an Ethiopian breed or an Egyptian Mao. But this is what Australia needs right now. You see this? If you sick an army of cats on the mice, you'll get rid of the problem. I'll put you down. And the thing about nature is that everything has a purpose. In China, they've had issues with locusts. And what have the Chinese done to get rid of the problem? Well, just get an army of ducks. Get an army of ducks, get 85,000 ducks, and sick them on the fields, and the ducks will eat all the locusts. You can do the same thing with chickens. Chickens will slaughter locusts. Everything in nature has its purpose. The problem with the Anglosphere is that there is a weird dislike for cats. And I've noticed this for years in the United States. But you see this in the Anglosphere. In the Eastern world, you don't really see this. Turkey, the Balkans, the Middle East, people love cats in the Eastern world. Why is the cat so praised in the Eastern world? Because cats will demolish the mice population. Why were cats so revered in the ancient world? Because cats will destroy the mouse population. Because mice will wipe out your crops. They will wipe out your wheat harvest. So it is absolutely essential to have cats. And I think that if Australia didn't murder all these millions of cats, they probably wouldn't be in this predicament. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.